Hey guys, I'm Matt and welcome to my latest video. So today I'm going to be talking about why the video game Assassin's Creed 3 is actually class, and despite popular opinion that it's one of the worst games in the series, I'm going to tell you why it's one of the best. So essentially, yeah, the story is a bit slow moving, which a lot of people have a problem with, and sometimes it's earlier on in the game, it's kind of, the story's a little bit hard to follow, but not right at the beginning, but sort of between the beginning and the middle, it gets a little bit confusing, and you're not really sure quite what's going on at first. You do have to sort of read through these sort of Animus archives and read through and sort of look at it deeper, and then when you've done that, it makes sense. Then once you get over halfway, it picks up. It's easy to follow, it's fast paced, and it's brilliant. And another reason why I think this game is class is the setting. The setting is absolutely breathtaking, set on the east coast of America during the Revolutionary War, and it's just honestly one of my favourite time periods and one of my favourite locations in that time period. You know, I love everything to do with the early stages of America. You know, obviously them settling on the actual mainland, and I love all that stuff, and them moving around and trying to find different places and looking for all that stuff. I just love American history, to be honest. But in this game, you just literally it feels so immersive. It feels like you're actually in America and you're not sat in your bedroom or your living room or wherever your PlayStation or Xbox is. One more reason is the fact that there's a lot of great characters within the game. Obviously, you've got characters like Achilles, you've got Connor. Connor's actually an interesting character. A lot of people criticise him because with his dialogue, it's kind of he sounds a bit monotone and a bit boring. But if you actually think about it, when he's speaking in English, that's not his native tongue. So he's probably not exactly confident. Like, if you say you're English and you start learning German, you don't become fluent and confident with the language immediately. So obviously he's not going to be able to talk in the way he does normally. But then if you listen to when he speaks in the Native American language, you can sort of pick up a lot more emotions from him. And if you do look throughout the game, he does actually seem to get better with his English, and his emotions through that language actually show more as you progress further in the game, which is actually realistic, rather than, oh, he can speak English now, he's fluent in it, end of story. Obviously, also you have other characters, not necessarily good characters. Well, they are good characters, but they're also very famous, and Assassin's Creed's always had a history of putting really famous sort of characters and fitting them within the universe, such as in Assassin's Creed 2 you had the Borgias, you also had Leonardo da Vinci. You know, you've had all these famous people, and in AC3 it's no exception. You've got Benjamin Franklin, George Washington, got all these great, just them two people alone, I mean, they're just great. Like, if you ask who's George Washington, chances are most people would say he was the first president of the United States. It's not someone that no one's heard of, and I think that they've just worked it so well into the story that he just seamlessly feels like he's part of the Assassin's universe, and like that in actual fact he did work with an assassin in real life, which he probably didn't, because they're not real as far as I know. Well, these assassins from Assassin's Creed are probably not real. No, they're not. They're not real. They're fictional. It would be cool if they weren't, but they are. Anyway, another reason why this game is a beast is your character is a Native American, and I absolutely love Native American culture. I love the sort of the Plains Indians, you know, the ones that lived in the Great Plains in the middle of America. I love the northern ones and on the coast, and the ones that are more into like fishing and, you know, that sort of thing, and they had like totem poles, and I just love all the like Native American culture, and I just think it's a really good thing. Obviously it's not really around much. There's still obviously people that are descendants of Native Americans, but they don't live in the same way as far as I know. I don't know, maybe some do, but the majority of them just sort of implement themselves into like the general society, even though their culture was actually really good. Also, just want to touch on the fact that the combat in this game is absolutely incredible. Like, I can tell you, on the sort of other Assassin's Creeds, especially the first Assassin's Creed, I hated the combat on that. That was atrocious. AC2 and Brotherhood Revelations, a bit better. It was actually really good. Ezio is obviously amazing, and you know, such a great character, and he's a very skilled assassin. But at times I found the fighting on that was a little bit repetitive and boring, whereas on this the combat is a lot more varied, because not only do you have your hidden blade, you also have a tomahawk, which there's like different kill animations, different strike animations, different block animations, counter animations, all them sort of things. You've also got sword you can have, which obviously you can have on the old Assassin's Creed games, but on this one it's not something that you get given, you just have to purchase it yourself if you want. There's also like clubs, axes, and then along with that you've got rope darts, you've got like flintlock pistols, bow and arrow. You've got all these great variety of weapons, so you can approach each fight. If you want to approach it the same as you normally do, fine, but if you want to vary it a bit, it's a lot easier to do so without it just seeming forced. It's fluid, and it just fits straight into the rest of the game. And I can tell you, there's no better feeling than jumping out of a tree and slitting a redcoat's throat with a tomahawk. I mean, it just doesn't get better than that. Obviously I don't mean a Butlins redcoat, I mean like a British redcoat from back then. Yeah, because I hate imperialist, like, basically I hate Britain's imperialist past. I just can't stand it, so that's always fun. And one more thing before I leave, just want to say, you know, with this game you also get to play a lot of levels through Desmond, so the actual proper protagonist, who obviously goes into the Animus and relives the memories of his ancestors. You can actually play as him. Like, you could a little bit on Assassin's Creed 2, but it wasn't a lot, and there wasn't a lot of combat, and there wasn't a lot of stealth, and it was kind of just running around, go get something, go somewhere else, and it was a little bit repetitive. There was a little bit of combat at the end of Assassin's Creed 2, if I remember correctly, but mostly you don't get to. But in this one there's a couple of Desmond missions. I think there's about 3 Desmond missions, each in different locations. One's in New York, one's in Brazil, one's in wherever the Abstergo headquarters is. I think it's in Italy. Yeah, it's in Italy. And you just get to go through all these levels, and I would love an Assassin's Creed game that just stars none of the Animus, nothing about the Animus, just a straight up modern day assassin, just a modern day one, because there's little bits in those missions that just feel so good. And I was literally willing them. After I played that game, I was literally thinking, well, when I was playing through those bits the first time, before I knew what happens to Desmond at the end, I was so praying that they do like an Assassin's Creed game where you literally just get to be Desmond, and he goes and does like missions and stuff, and the game is just circled around exactly him rather than Animus. I mean, you could have a little bit of Animus in there. I mean, I think that would work for a very good game, but Desmond, things don't go well for him at the end. Not going to spoil it, but you probably should have played it by now. But, you know, obviously that vision that I would wanted, a futuristic Desmond game, can't ever happen, unfortunately. Anyway guys, I hope you did enjoy this video. I really did. I love talking about Assassin's Creed in general, and especially this one, because it's obviously one of my favourite of the series. Leave a like if you did enjoy, comment on what your opinions are on the game, you know, positive, negative, whatever, just let me know. Subscribe if you enjoy my content in general. I'll see you next time guys. Take